Someone shared with me an article yesterday that in New York, in the 5 boroughs, Scheiner, there are 110,000 Jewish children enrolled in yeshivas, just in the 5 boroughs. What's most astonishing about the number is that 2 years ago, the number was 100,000. It grew by 10,000 in the past 2 years. In Jewish community, the most important primary emphasis is Jewish education. And it all comes back to this week's Torah portion 4,000 years ago. Torah says, why did Hashem choose Abraham? God says, why have I chosen Abraham? And God says, because he will instruct his children and his descendants after him, V'shamru derech Hashem, to guard the way of Hashem. The reason God chose Abraham is because he will instruct and educate and teach his children to follow in the way of Hashem. That is the reason given why Hashem chose Abraham. But the question is, surely there were other great Jewish leaders who would also instruct their children to follow the way of Hashem. Why was Abraham chosen? Because only he would properly instruct his children. Someone told me, Judaism can't be taught, it has to be caught. When I thought about it, it makes a lot of sense. There are certain things that in life that are contagious. Not just bad things, but good things, right? And one of the things that's contagious is the way we feel in our relationship towards Hashem and towards the Torah. Our children catch that from us. Sometimes parents ask me, how do I teach my children to have self-confidence? There's no book you could take to teach your kid from a book how to have self-confidence. You know the only way to have kids with self-confidence? If you have self-confidence. And then they catch it from you. They see your confidence, they feel your confidence, and they gain self-confidence. Same thing is with love of Hashem. You can't tell your kid or instruct them to love. Love is a feeling. But if they feel your love for Hashem and your love for Torah, your excitement, your enthusiasm, automatically they will follow suit. And the same thing is in everything. How do you teach your kids to have unconditional love to their siblings, right? We all want our kids to love each other unconditionally. If you show them unconditional love, they'll learn the concept of unconditional love. And that's why we find that, what does it say about Avram Avinu? Hashem says, Avram Ohavai. Avram, who loves me. You know why God chose Abraham to be the teacher of Judaism to all of his children and descendants? He loved Hashem like none other. Hashem says, someone with that burning passion and love for Hashem, he'll be successful in teaching the children. And that's why when we say the Shema every morning and evening, there's a command to teach it to your children. Teach your children Torah when you're going in the way, when you're sitting at home, when you wake up, when you go to sleep. But you know what the verse right before teach it to your children is? You should love God. Because the only way you'll be successful in transmitting Jewish education and knowledge and values to your children is if you love Hashem first. Then you could teach it to your children. They tell us about a child psychologist who would always talk about how to teach children, educate children. And one day they poured fresh concrete in front of his house. And a bunch of kids came and they started to carve their initials in the freshly poured concrete. And this child psychologist made a whole career of many books on how to speak to children properly and how to educate them. He went out, he lost his temper, he started yelling at the kids. What are you doing, putting your initials in the freshly poured concrete? And he lost his temper. When he came back in, his wife said to him, I don't understand, you're a child psychologist, you always write books and preach about how you have to talk to children, you have to get down on your knees, you have to make eye contact, you have to speak in a calm tone. And all of a sudden you're screaming and yelling at these kids. And he said to his wife, I teach child psychology in the abstract, not in the concrete. And the lesson in life is it's not enough to teach Judaism in the abstract, because unfortunately that will fall on deaf ears. It has to be in the concrete. You could give your kids the top of the line Jewish education, but if they don't see you doing it in the concrete, in the practice, they don't see you practicing everything you teach them and showing them by example. As we said, Judaism can't be taught. It has to be taught, but it also has to be taught.